Aloha and good afternoon. I'm Dylan Anchetta right here in the H&N Digital Center. We are standing by for a live news conference with Governor Josh Green. He is expected to announce the successors to some vacancies in the House. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Get you your money's worth today. So it's good to see everybody. Today, first half of our press conference is a small celebration, and I want to characterize it that way. I'm just so proud to make an announcement about the two new state representatives that we're going to be welcoming here to the state capitol. First on our screen, we've got Luke Evslin, who until recently has been a member of the Kauai County Council. He will be entering as the representative for District 16, which is Wailua and Lahui, replacing Jimmy Tokioku, who's come on into our cabinet. Evslin's a longtime entrepreneur. He shepherded a successful business career. He overcame tremendous personal challenges. He was run over by a motorboat. The propeller sliced him 5 times over the back, shattered his pelvis, and it took a lot of tenacity to recover. So that's just an unusual life story. Ikaika feels a lot like Luke right now. But he survived it, as we will all. And on the county council, he's been a champion of legislation that deals with affordable housing. This is one of the reasons that I was so proud to ask him to serve after his name came up. He's working on environmental protection. He proposed creation of a county water program to leverage $1.2 million in clean water revolving funds. This is an exceptional individual. I also want to share that Luke has a 4- and a 6-year-old. Is that right, Luke? He's a role model for his kids, and he's someone we're proud to appoint. And I just wanted to introduce you to Luke first. We're going to now turn to the new representative for District 37, which is an excellent woman named Trish LaChica, who is going to be representing Lower Mililani and Waipio Gentry. Recently, Trish worked at City and County in Honolulu on homelessness. This is important to me. She understands the issues that matter in many ways most to me. I met Trish a long time ago when she was a very young healthcare advocate. I was impressed by her in that first meeting and introduced her to Beth Geesting, who then hired her on the spot. And she is just a terrific person. She served on the Mililani Neighborhood Board. She is a bridge builder. Born in the Philippines, she started her career as an investigative journalist, so she should feel at home here in this room. She calls Mililani her home, and she's raising a 3- and a 6-year-old kid with her husband, Cricket. So these are just terrific people, and I'm honored to welcome them to the House of Representatives. And if I might now turn it over to Speaker Psyche, and then we'll have a moment for you to ask them questions.
Hey, thank you very much, Governor. I want to thank the Governor for all of the deliberation that he put into this decision. I know that he spent a lot of time thinking through these appointments because he knows that these 2 seats are very important for the House of Representatives. So I want to thank him again for all of the time that he spent on his deliberations. So as you know, the House will now have 18 new freshmen, which is the largest class in 28 years. I was able to speak with Luke and Trish yesterday on the phone after I had heard that they were going to be appointed. And I have to tell you that both of them were they're super excited about these appointments. I mean, they were just really, really exuberant. They were very excited. They were just really happy because I know that they want to serve their communities. They want to serve our state. They have some definite ideas about what we can do here in the legislature. I want to congratulate them because I know that they've worked so hard. Both of them worked so hard to reach this point, this milestone. And I know they're going to bring experience, they're going to bring perspective, they're going to bring a kind of a new generational shift to the House, and we're really looking forward to working with them. So again, I want to thank the Governor and congratulate Luke and Trish on this appointment. Thank you.
I'm going to say one more thing, and then we'll bring Trish up to the mic, and Luke will also be available. We had 6 extraordinary nominees, and they each recommended themselves very strongly. We experienced the passing of Ron Manor during this process. Ron was one of the other nominees, and we wanted to honor him in this moment too, who served here in this building very proudly. But all of the individuals were exceptional, and I have to say the state would have been well represented by any of them. These 2 individuals were simply the right pick for the right time, especially because they both are really thoughtful about healthcare and homelessness. And that means a lot to us right now. So, Trish, why don't I call you up to the mic, and you can also weigh in there, Representative Evslin.
Aloha. Thank you so much. Thank you to the governor for this very important appointment. Thank you for the trust and confidence. I also wanted to thank my district council members for selecting me as one of the nominees. It wouldn't have been possible without also everybody who really, in the community, from our stakeholders, and just folks who mean so much to me that really advocated for my appointment. So thank you. It's an honor to be given this opportunity to serve. I really look forward to this opportunity to work with my colleagues in the House. As Governor mentioned, I'm going to take what I've learned at the city, what I've learned over the years as a public health advocate, and really bring that energy to the House. As a mom, a young mom raising 2 little kids, I represent a lot of the struggles that our families face, especially for our district. We have an aging community. Mililani has experienced a lot of public safety and increased crime that have let our residents feel vulnerable. But I'm committed to not just earning the trust and support of our community, but really listening and doing things differently, and also just wanted to express my commitment that I'm going to work really hard to ensure that our residents continue to feel valued, heard, and supported throughout this process. So thank you again, Governor, for this opportunity. It really is an honor to serve.
And Luke, could we get a couple comments from you, buddy?
Yeah, thank you, Governor Green, for the appointment. Thank you, Speaker Psyche, for the kind words, and of course, thank you to the District Council also for the nomination. And a thank you to my wife, who, with a 4 and a 6-year-old at home, who will be on Kauai while I'm on Oahu for a significant amount of time. Thank you to her for being so supportive all along, too. I'm really honored to represent District 16 in the House for housing, the climate change, the cost of living. I really think we're facing just some gigantic problems all across the state, and I really feel strongly about the power of public policy to help solve these big collective action problems. And I'm committed to working relentlessly with the governor and my new colleagues in the House to work towards solutions. So I'm excited to get to work. I'm excited to meet my new colleagues, and I'm excited to learn a lot hopefully through this session. So thank you again, Governor, and thank you, Speaker Psyche.
Thank you, Luke. Excellent. Go ahead, Speaker.
I just wanted to add this just to clarify the procedure at this point. The plan is to have Luke and Trish on the House floor on Tuesday at our floor session. The Chief Justice will be here that day to swear them in. So our floor session begins at 12 noon on Tuesday.
Great. Why don't we take a couple questions if you guys have?
So we have 2 questions. First, we'll start with Sabrina, HPR.
Hi, this is for Trish and Luke. Since we're a good chunk of the way through the session, are there any specific pieces of legislation that you've been following or you anticipate to champion for?
Yeah, so it is a little, we're coming in almost the third of session, so it's late for us to introduce bills. But of course, especially from representing Central Oahu, I'm really excited to look at the bills that are reduce the cost of, the everyday costs and economic costs for our working families. anything really goes a long way. There's, I've talked to a lot of families that are single income earners or have to work several jobs or who have had to move to the mainland. So reducing the costs are important. We have an aging community, as I mentioned earlier, so healthcare costs and access is also very important, as well as anything that really brings services to our community, such as strengthening transportation. Critical to our community is having some access to rail and additional, transportation infrastructure. But there's really a lot that I'm really excited to work on. And so I'll take a look at the different legislation that's moving and, of course, talk to House leadership and my colleagues in the House to see where I can help support.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Luke, do you have anything that you'd like to add today about your priorities?
Yeah, I'll just say briefly, for me, one coming in mid-session, it's just going to be a lot of trying to get caught up. But in general, I'm going to be looking out for anything that, increases funding for affordable housing, reducing barriers to housing construction, things that can reduce speculation in the housing market. Those have really been my focus on the county council, and I'm hoping to take that similar focus to the state ledge. And then also similarly, anything that can reduce transportation costs, hopefully by incentivizing housing construction near jobs. Those will be my initial priorities at least.
That's it. Okay. Any other last quick questions? Nope. Okay. We're going to do a quick photo and then we'll bifurcate our press conference. Yes.
Go ahead. Lay into a photo.
Yes. House members come up here. Want me out of this way?
Well, you should be here today.
Is that okay?
No late for you today, but it's Tuesday. Good choice. Great choice. Trish, come up front. Trish, come up front here. This guy. Here we go. Woody, you're with me. Luke, you look good there, man.
Thank you very much. I think those be ways that I
Oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, I like it. That's nice. That's very sweet.
Come up,
Get ready,
Luke.
3, 2, 1, look this way.
Yay, Luke!
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, our apologies. We're going to bifurcate and
Thank you.
you guys can see.
Yes.
See, thank you. Yes, my team tomorrow.
Yeah, tonight. Yep.
I can learn an hour early so we can see another guy.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, Red.
Once again, folks, that was a live news conference with Governor Green announcing the appointments of some vacant seats in the House of Representatives right there. A lot of political news today happening from the state capitol. We have our team there gathering all of this, and we're going to put it together in our evening newscast. So be sure to tune in to Hawaii News Now starting at 4 o'clock on KHNL. Thank you guys so much for watching this live stream here from the H&N Digital Center. I'm Dylan Ancheta. Aloha. All right, folks, welcome back. We are continuing this press conference. Governor Green is coming back out to the podium to talk about the appointment of Ikaika Anderson. Let's listen into this now.
To our press conference. At this point, I'd like to welcome up someone who is dear to me, Ikaika Anderson, a person who I have a great deal of respect for, who has fought for Hawaii's families for many years, served confidently and proudly here in the city and county of Honolulu, worked with me on homeless projects in Waimanalo to help people who were struggling. Really just someone I have a great deal of respect for. So I'm going to have Ikaika come up and say a few words, and then I'll add a few additionally.
Aloha kako, everyone. Good afternoon. After careful consideration after yesterday's Senate Hawaiian Affairs Committee meeting, Governor Green, thank you very much for the opportunity to serve my Native Hawaiian people, whose heart I've always worn on my sleeve, thanks to the upbringing of my grandparents, Whitney and Hanny Anderson, who served in leadership positions in the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs. But I respectfully ask, Governor, that you please withdraw my nomination effective immediately. I'd like to thank this governor and his administration for calling me forth to serve my Native Hawaiian people, the beneficiaries of the Hawaiian Homelands Trust. I've had the opportunity to travel the state and meet so many of you, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. Despite yesterday's Senate Hawaiian Affairs Committee meeting, where support in favor of my confirmation was overwhelming, more than 2-1, the votes just weren't there. I respect that process. I thank the State Senate for allowing me to go through the process and for allowing me the opportunity to be heard. I'd also like to thank all of the community leaders who came out to support me. Former governors, former member of Congress, a mayor, former colleagues on the Honolulu City Council, many members of the Green administration, but most importantly, some of the beneficiaries I had the opportunity to meet, some of the beneficiaries of the Hawaiian Homelands Trust. I look forward to continuing to work with the Hawaiian community and Governor Green going forward, and whatever opportunities may come up for me to be of service. I will always be grateful, Governor, for the opportunity to come forward and to serve and to be considered. Although this opportunity wasn't meant to be, it was an honor to be considered, and I must thank you and the community and the State Senate for allowing me to at least go through that process. Mahalo.
I'll add just a few more comments. Ikaika carried himself with great pride and courage into what can be a difficult environment. I would say this: when you see that many individuals come forward to support a gentleman like Ikaika Anderson, you do have to ask yourself why they ultimately wouldn't pass him on for confirmation. I won't second guess the committee. I will just say this: we were all sent here to do a job, to help people. In this case, it was to help build houses for the Hawaiian community, and I can't think of anybody who was better poised to do that, who simply wanted to help out. Going forward, I would hope that we keep that as our priority and we not allow politics to mix into our opinions. I'm fully aware of all that was said, both out in public and privately. We need to change the culture of state government. We need to be more considerate of people. This is a gentleman who cares deeply about people. Right before we came out here, his daughter texted him, then called him, and he sent her $10 while he was getting ready to take a step back and remove his name from consideration. This is the guy we're talking about. This is a dad. He is proud Hawaiian. He is somebody that would have helped the state greatly. And I will tell you, our administration hopes and expects to ask Ikaika to serve with us in the years to come in a different capacity, of course, but because he has so much to offer. This is a very good gentleman. And I hope that in the future, as we go through this process, that we put people's capacity ahead of the politics. At this point, I will pause and just say again, thank you, Ikaika. We care deeply about you. Yes. And if you'd like to ask Ikaika or me some questions, we thought that would be okay.
For Governor, given what's happened in this confirmation process, are you worried that this is going to set the tone for future confirmations for both directors and their deputies?
Anything is possible. I am going to continue to stay optimistic and take the high ground no matter what. I was very disappointed that after so many people came forward to support Ikaika, that he didn't have a unanimous vote in favor yesterday. That's what should have happened. But as we know, people can get political. I hope and expect that most of our most of our nominees and deputies get confirmed. That's what people want. They did elect our team to take on big challenges. And so hopefully, we won't see much of that. I'll also clarify, Ikaika is going to remain as our acting chair of DHHL until we pick another individual to fill his shoes. He's worked very hard these last couple of months and actually has helped us really work through the large question of how to spend significant resources to put houses into people's possession. This is someone who has a lot of capacity and has helped us a lot. But we're going to continue to work with the Senate and, of course, the House no matter what. That's what the people want us to do.
Okay, next question, base level civil B.
Governor, what is your relationship right now with the Senate? You talked about a culture shift. Is it the way they do business that needs to change? Or can you talk about what things are like with that?
Sure. I have a very positive relationship with the Senate President. We spent significant time together today and I believe even yesterday. We see each other so often it's quite surprising. It is fist bumps and hugs and working through problems. But he's only one member, and I have a lot of respect for the body. I also have very good relationships with many of the individuals, but again, people's personal politics does sometimes intervene. We're going to go through this in a positive way because we have to put together this cabinet. We also have to pass significant legislation so that we have less taxes on families that are living near poverty and more houses built. That's what we have to do. And then finally, we have to solve the homeless crisis. I will not rest until we've adequately addressed these issues. And that means we're going to stay in session and solve these problems one way or another. And if we don't solve them first go around, we're going to come back and solve them later in the year. But we're going to work together. I imagine most of our nominees will not have the kind of battle that Ikaika has because most of them are not, they have not served politically. That proved to be a lot of fodder for conflict.
Next question, Dan Nicasso, Star Advertiser.
Governor, there were three of your nominees, two or three who are also raising questions. Don Chang was in the hearing yesterday and saw what the council member went through. How concerned are you that they're going to get, like I said, two or three are going to get similar treatment by their individual?
I think it's up to the people of Hawaii to make sure that I treat the Senate well and the Senate treats my nominees well. I think it's important for all of you to weigh in and to speak up if you feel we're not treating each other properly. Also, we have to set an example. There could be some contentious hearings, although I will tell you this regarding Dawn, who's up for DLNR chair. She has been able to communicate I think pretty effectively with the Senate about where they had some differences. I've heard that, but we still don't take anything for granted. Let me say something on behalf of Chris Sadeasu, who is a young nominee for DBED. He recently did something extraordinary. He was able to get the proposal out for tourism. That's a major solution for our state. If he doesn't get confirmed, it would be very distressing because this guy has been working night and day to make sure that we fix marketing and management for the state of Hawaii, a problem that eluded the previous administration for years. I could go on, of course. I would say this. These are good people. They would like to serve. They are humble people, and they deserve a chance to serve and be tested. I really believe that Ikaika Anderson should have been our DHHL chair, but it's his humble nature to step back because he didn't want to be a distraction as these other individuals have to undergo their confirmations. That's very generous of him because he's got kids at home to feed. He takes care of his community, yet he's stepping back in spite of all that because he's putting the state first.
Our final question from Sabrina, HPR.
Hi, this is for Ikaika. Thank you.
Yes.
What did you learn from testimony? What will you take away from yesterday's hearing, and how will you use that as you continue in this acting chair position as a nominee?
My kupuna, particularly my grandfather, taught me a long time ago that respect and trust aren't given, both are earned. And I didn't have the time to earn the respect and the trust of so many of our beneficiaries. What I will take away from this is hopefully in whatever opportunities there may be for me to serve in the future, that I'll be able to build more relationships in the Hawaiian community, earn their trust, and earn their respect so that we do have the opportunity to serve them and to provide for our communities going forward. But that's what I've learned, to continue to work to earn the trust and the respect of our community.
So I'll just wrap with thank you for paying attention. Everyone out there, people deserve to be treated well. There should be no bullying. There should be no stones thrown in glass houses. That's important, and that's a lesson we should be teaching our young people, and we should carry ourselves that way here. I expect great things from Ikaika, who is early in his career. He will either work with us, or I would not be shocked if he serves in elective office again in the future. So let's keep our chin up, and I'm just so proud of him and how he carried himself through tough times. That's really a good message to our families out there. So aloha, and thanks for sharing the day today.
And that was a live news conference with Governor Green regarding the nomination for Department of Hawaiian Homelands. You heard there Ikaika Anderson withdrawing his name from consideration. Now, this is coming on the heels of a Senate panel who rejected his confirmation. I have some video and some sound bites I want to play out for you folks here. Give me just 1 second and let's see if we can get that here. Now, this all happened yesterday. Of course, there was an hours-long hearing about Ikaika Anderson's nomination to lead up DHHL, and around 6:45, I believe, is when the senators voted to reject his nomination. And last night, we got some reaction from Governor Green. Here's what he had to say.
I think there's been a bit of a mob mentality. I've heard it behind the scenes that people are being influenced by other senators, and that's unfortunate because we're really sent here to deliver on housing. This is an unacceptable trend. First, the personal attacks on Nani, who's our housing leader, followed by attacks from 3 separate senators on the president of the university when that job is supposed to be managed by the regents, and now what appears to be a somewhat coordinated attack on the Department of Hawaiian Homelands nominee, Ikaika Anderson.
Now, again,
I am committed to implementing
this is also, sorry folks, this is also a part of that hearing from yesterday. We heard from Ikaika himself. Take a listen.
strategic plan submitted to you in December and relying on that plan as a foundation. To date, I have signed documents that will encumber more than $22 million by the end of this month for projects directly from that plan.
And I can appreciate that you were only brought on board 2 months ago. But since that point, the situation has grown more confusing and I think more treacherous for the beneficiaries on this generational housing proposal.
Now, once again, there were more than 170 people who submitted written testimony, and most of them were actually in support for Anderson, but there was also a lot of vocal opposition from DHHL critics. Among the biggest opponents were homesteaders and Anderson's predecessor, William Ayla. Now, Ayla criticized Anderson for terminating DHHL spokesman Cedric Duarte and added that morale at DHHL is low. He said Anderson's previous comments that he plans to revise the department's development plans show that he's too dependent on the Green administration. Now, some supporters included ex-Congressman Ikaika Anderson and former governors John Waihee and Neil Abercrombie. A number of Hawaiian activists and homeless advocates also supported him. But there you go. Just moments ago, Ikaika Anderson withdrew his own name from consideration after that Senate panel vote yesterday, in which the senators rejected his nomination. This was part 2 of this news conference with Governor Josh Green. Earlier, you heard him talk about who will be the successors to 2 vacant House seats there at the state capitol, one of them being Luke Evslin from Kauai, in light of James Tokioka being tapped to run, I believe it was the State Transportation Department. We are working to recap all of this, and we'll bring you the latest details on Hawaii News Now starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon on KHNL. Thank you guys so much again for watching this HNN live stream in the Digital Center. I'm Dylan Ancheta. Have a great day.